Most humans avoided Orex 4. It wasn't the razor leaf trees that could slice exposed flesh with a passing brush, nor the floating spores that tasted metallic on the tongue and made you hallucinate the sound of whispering rivers. No, Orex 4 was feared because it was alive in a way most planets weren't. The whole ecosystem reacted to outsiders like white blood cells attacking an infection. And yet I, David Rowan, ex-terra former turned freelance explorer, spent the last 3 months charting its unclaimed northern hemisphere. The morning it all began, I was cutting through a clearing when I heard it. Not the shriek of a predator, not the rumbling hiss of a spore, but a voice. "Hi, young desperate human. Please, human." I froze, gripping the hilt of my plasma machete. The last thing I expected in a hostile, half-mapped wilderness was another living sentient crying out, not in an alien dialect, but an accent-broken galactic standard. Then the bushes parted, and out tumbled the smallest alien child I had ever seen. Barely 3 feet tall with skin the color of stormy lavender, eyes too large for its round face, and 4 trembling fingers reaching toward me. It wore a patchwork leather vest and a moss-weaved satchel. Its breath came in ragged gasps. It pointed behind itself, voice cracking, "Please, my mother, she's trapped. You must come no time. Please." I dropped to a knee, raising my empty hands in peace. Hey, slow down. What's your name?" The child gulped. "Crow." "Crow, what happened to your mother?" "Hunter trap. Metal jaws. Bleeding. Can't move. Must hurry." Each word hit like a pulse grenade. A hunter trap out here. No one had clearance to hunt on Orex 4. Not legally, anyway. That meant poachers, smugglers, or worse, weapon testers. "Show me," I said. I expected him to hesitate. Instead, Kiro grabbed my sleeve with surprising strength and sprinted toward the shadowed tree line. As we ran beneath the serrated canopy, spores drifted like silver dust. Kiro's breathing grew tight. "How far?" I asked. "Close. Too close. She's weak." My heartbeat kicked into overdrive. The deeper we ran, the darker it became. Orex 4's forests were a maze of bioluminescent roots, pulsing vines, and trees whose bark shifted in slow rhythmic patterns like lungs inhaling. Finally, Kiro skidded to a halt beside a fallen trunk. "Here." At first, I saw nothing, just tangled vines and moss. Then I saw her, his mother, a full-grown female of his species, taller than me, her lavender skin now pale from blood loss. Her leg was clamped inside a mechanical jaw trap, sharp metal teeth sunk deep, gears still twitching as if hungry. The trap was unlike anything I'd seen in approved hunting catalogs. It was designed to destroy. She looked up weakly when I approached. Her pupils dilated with pain. "Human, help, Crow," she whispered. Kiro collapsed at her side. "Stay awake, mother." He came. I found him. Her wound was severe. Too severe, but not hopeless. Not if I worked fast. "Okay," I said softly. "I can get her out." Ko looked up at me with shaking hope. "Please don't let her die." I unclipped the tool pack from my belt and began. Middle, the mother, the machines, and the hunters. The trap was engineered with brutal precision: carbon steel alloy plates, serrated jaws, pressure sensors, explosive fail-safes. Definitely illegal, possibly military. As I scanned it with my handheld analyzer, the reading made my blood run cold. Designed for sentient targets, not animals, not wildlife, people. "Kira," I said quietly. "Who set this trap?" His eyes darkened. "Hunters. The kind who take my people." Mother tried to hide me. She stepped on it by mistake. "They will come back soon." "How soon?" "Soon." I exhaled sharply. We were running against the clock. "Hold her hand," I told him. "I'm going to pry this open." Crow hugged her arm tightly. I inserted the hydraulic spreader into the trap hinges. The metal screeched as I forced the jaws open. The mother cried out, shaking, but stayed conscious. When her leg was free, blood poured down like a ruptured floodgate. Her voice trembled. "Kiro, don't look." I grabbed foam seal from my kit and applied it to the wound. The glowing gel hissed as it sealed the muscle. Then I wrapped her leg with a compression bandage. It wouldn't heal her fully, but it would keep her alive. "We need to get her out of here," I said. Now, Crow tried lifting her, but she was too heavy. "I can help," he insisted. "You're helping plenty," I said, sliding my arms under her shoulders. "You keep her calm." But before we could even stand, the forest changed. The bioluminescent glow dimmed. The air thickened. Then I heard it. Bootsteps, heavy metal, approaching fast. Crow's face went white with terror. "They're here." I grabbed my plasma machete. "Get behind me." 3 figures emerged from the dark. Humans, heavily armed, covered in matte black armor with pulsing blue tech grafts etched along their limbs. Not poachers, not smugglers, mercenaries. One raised his rifle lazily. Well, he drawled. Looks like our trap did catch something valuable after all. Another chuckled. 2 aliens and a stray human. Jackpot. I stepped in front of Kiro and his mother. You set a sentient-grade trap on a restricted world, I said. That's a war crime. The leader smirked. Only if someone reports us. I tightened my grip on the machete. Guess that's going to be me. Oh no, he said. It's really not. They lifted their rifles. What happened next was chaos. I activated my emergency shield emitter. A hexagonal force barrier snapped to life just as plasma bolts hammered into it. The impact shook my teeth. Crow screamed and hugged his mother. I charged. The barrier gave me 3 seconds of cover. I swung the plasma machete into the first mercenary's rifle. It sliced through like butter. His shock gave me enough time to sweep his legs and smash his helmet visor with the butt of my tool pack. He went down. The leader snarled and fired at my flank. Pain erupted across my ribs as the bolt grazed me. I fell to one knee. Kyo's terrified cry cut through the ringing in my ears. Human, please don't die. I forced myself up, adrenaline surging. The second mercenary lunged. I blocked his strike with my forearm shield, slammed the machete into his thigh, and kicked him backward into a spore bloom. The spores burst. He inhaled and immediately began coughing, hallucinating. The leader cursed. Useless IDs. He aimed at Kiro's mother, at the child. I didn't think. Idove. The bolt hit my shoulder, burning flesh. I roared in pain and crashed into him, tackling him into a tree. His rifle skittered across the ground. We grappled, punching, kicking, rolling. He was stronger. I was more desperate. Finally, I slammed his head into a jagged root. His body sagged. I staggered back, bleeding and shaking. Kiro, help me move her, I rasped. He nodded quickly. Together we lifted his mother. But as we began escaping, she whispered faintly, they will return more. Always more. And she was right. I could hear distant engines humming through the forest. Backup was coming in fast. The flight through living forests and deadly threats. We didn't have long. The mother was barely conscious, slumped between us as we stumbled through the maze-like forest. The ground pulsed beneath us. Orex 4, reacting to blood scent, to violence, to fear. Crow, I said, panting. Is there shelter nearby? Yes, our village hidden but far. She won't make it without help. What kind of help? He hesitated. The Heartroot. A giant tree healing sap but guarded by the Orex. They hate outsiders. We'll make them understand, I said. But Kiro's eyes watered. They will kill you. Well, I forced a smile. Let's hope they're in a good mood. As we approached the Heartroot Valley, the forest grew strange. The trees widened. Their trunks spiraled like giant muscular cords. The air shimmered with dense spores. And then they appeared. Orex guardians, massive quadrupedal creatures with crystalline carapaces and glowing rib lights. They moved like stone statues come to life. One stepped forward, raising its horned head. Its deep resonant voice boomed. Outsider. You trespass upon sacred ground. I stepped forward, arms raised. Her leg is crushed. She'll die without the sap. Please help us. The guardian's light pulsed. Why should we save her? Your kind brought metal fangs. Blood poisons our roots. That wasn't me, I said. That was them. They're following us right now. The guardian's body stiffened. The violent ones return. Yes. Crow cried out. Please, my mother is good. She protected me. Help her. Help us. The Heartroot guardians went silent. Then the lead guardian lowered its massive head toward me. If you stand between our sacred ground and the violent humans, we will help. I swallowed. You want me to fight? Yes. My pulse thudded. Deal. They took Kiro's mother into the inner chamber of the heart. I stood outside. My shoulder burned. My ribs ached. My legs trembled. But I stood and the forest held its breath. Because the hunters were coming. The last stand. You will not touch them. The mercenaries arrived in a swarm of hoverbikes and armored suits. At least 12 of them. Too many. One pointed at me. That's the one who killed Kate and Juno. Another spat. The aliens went toward the valley. Trapped them inside. They lifted their rifles. I stepped forward. You want them? I growled. You come through me? They laughed. Then the leader said, fine, kill him first. The fight began in a storm of plasma fire. I activated all 3 of my emergency tools. Shield emitter, pulse wave grenade, sonic disruptor. The explosion sent mercenaries flying, but more rushed in. I deflected fire with my crackling shield, swung my machete, dodged, rolled, gasped. A bolt hit my leg. Another grazed my back. I screamed, but kept fighting. Behind me, the giant Heartroot tree pulsed with life, healing Crow's mother. I couldn't let them reach it. David Kiro's voice echoed from inside. Please don't let them take her. His scream gave me strength I didn't have. I charged the mercenaries again. Then the guardians roared. A dozen massive Orex creatures thundered from the trees, smashing into the mercenaries like living tanks. Their crystalline armor deflected plasma fire. Their claws cracked hoverbikes in half. Together, we pushed the hunters back. One mercenary aimed a high-charge cannon at the heart. I tackled him. He fell, but he fired. The blast hit the trunk. Sap erupted like liquid gold. The Heartroot screamed. The forest trembled violently. You harmed the root, bellowed the lead guardian. UD. The ground split open beneath the mercenary squad. Roots lashed around them like tentacles, dragging them into the earth. In seconds, it was over. Silence fell. The surviving mercenaries fled into the forest. I collapsed to my knees. Pain surged through me. Everything went dark, ending a home in the valley of light. I woke to soft warmth. Kiro's mother, bandaged, healed, knelt beside me, her hand on my forehead. The Heartroot's golden sap glowed across her skin. Human, she whispered gently. You saved my life. Kuro leaped onto me, hugging me so tightly I winced. David, you lived. You lived. You saved us. I smiled weakly, barely. The lead guardian approached, its crystalline carapace glowing. You have defended our heart. For this, you are no longer an outsider. It lowered its massive head. You are ally of the root, protector of the small. I felt a lump form in my throat. Does that mean I'm allowed to stay here? I asked. Ko grinned wide. Yes, you stay with us forever if you want. His mother nodded. Our village will welcome you. I looked at the peaceful pulsing valley, the shimmering leaves, the humming roots, the creatures that once feared me now bowing in respect. After years of wandering, I had found something like home. Crow, I asked softly. Yes. Next time you shout human, please try not to give me a heart attack. He giggled. I can't promise that. His mother smiled. And for the first time in a long time, I smiled back. Because on a dangerous world where everything fought to survive, a child's desperate plea had changed everything. And I knew deep down I'd risk it all. David ran through the tunnel with every nerve in his body screaming for escape as the faceless guardians closed in behind him. Their movements made no sound, but their presence pressed against his skull like invisible hands trying to peel apart his thoughts. He focused only on the faint blue glow of Kuro, who drifted ahead at incredible speed, guiding him deeper into the winding roots. The air grew colder, and the red pulses along the tunnel walls quickened as if the planet's heartbeat had entered a state of rage. David felt a sudden spike of pain behind his eyes and stumbled for a moment. In that instant, a guardian lunged toward his shadow, pulling it like stretching cloth. David gasped as an icy numbness spread up his spine. Do not slow down. Kuro shouted, his voice echoing like a chime cutting through fog. David forced his legs forward, tearing himself free just as the walls ahead opened into a massive cavern. The neural chamber. It was breathtaking and terrifying all at once. Thousands of luminous roots hung from above like glowing arteries, pulsing with golden light that traveled in rhythmic waves. The floor was a smooth, glass-like surface reflecting the roots as if the chamber extended infinitely downward. But it was the center of the room that held David's gaze, a swirling vortex of energy, shaped like a silent storm, suspended just above the ground. Kuro floated toward it slowly, his form stabilizing. This is the heart of the network, he whispered. Once inside, I can reformat my signal. You must stand guard. If the guardians reach me before I stabilize, both of us will be erased. David nodded, though fear clawed at his insides. He stepped forward until he was positioned between Kuro and the tunnel entrance. His plasma machete hummed faintly in his hand, useless but comforting. Kuro drifted into the vortex, his glow rippling like disturbed water. The golden roots responded instantly, brightening, sending waves of warm light through the chamber. The guardians reacted too. A high-pitched screech filled the air as dozens of shadowy forms poured into the cavern, faster than before. They moved like torn fragments of night, changing shape with every step, sometimes smoke, sometimes limbs, sometimes nothing at all. David braced himself as the first guardian lunged. He swung the machete on instinct. The blade didn't cut the creature physically, but the bright plasma trail disrupted its form, scattering it briefly before it reassembled, angrier, faster. Come on, David muttered, breathing hard. If you want him, you'll have to go through me. More guardians rushed him from the sides. Their presence slicing sharp thoughts into his mind, memories twisted. Nightmares flashing, voices whispering his failures. His vision stuttered as if reality flickered. But he held his ground. Behind him he could feel the chamber thrum louder as Kuro's signal reshaped itself. The vortex glowed brighter, sending bursts of blue-white light across the chamber, but each burst seemed to enrage the guardians further. One of them slammed into David's side, sending him skidding across the glass-like floor. The world spun, his ears rang, and the cold pressure of the Guardian's influence wrapped around his mind like a tightening fist. David forced himself up, blood pounding in his ears. He couldn't give up. He wouldn't. With a roar, he surged forward again, swinging wildly, each arc of his machete carving brief openings of light through the darkness. Just a little longer, he yelled toward the vortex. Finish it, Kuro. But even as he shouted, the tunnel behind them began to crack and swell. The planet was sending something bigger. Something stronger. A deep rumble shook the chamber, and the golden roots trembled violently overhead. David stared at the entrance, heart dropping as a colossal shadow emerged, towering, shapeless, its form dragging the darkness with it like a living hurricane. The final guardian had arrived.